The Media Matters campaign to end Rush Limbaugh's radio career reached fever pitch this week. Nearly 100 advertisers have asked Premier Radio to keep their commercials away from Limbaugh and other, quote, offensive hosts like Michael Savage and even Sean Hannity. Well, man, CNN posted a column by Jane Fonda and Gloria Steinem calling on citizens to urge the Federal Communications Commission to take Limbaugh off the air. The president publicly rebuked the radio talker. At an international women's conference, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi has publicly fantasized that Rush would be advertiser-less. We all know this is a well-funded, coordinated attack, but the advertisers don't seem to care that they're being used by leftist propagandists.
We're seeing some blowback already from advertisers who have abandoned Rush Limbaugh. If the leftists say we're going to boycott John's gun and ammo shop, tough luck. But if John's Gun and Ammo Shop pulls itself out of the Rush Limbaugh show, then the people who had supported that business in the first place will abandon it. And that's exactly what happened to Carbonite, right? The online backup thing. They pulled their ads. Oh my God, we're shocked and horrified. So people stopped. They just sold their stock in Carbonite. Okay, two people can play this game, Scotty.
Well, you don't go to war with a guy who has all the 50,000-watt AM radio stations under his command for 3 hours a day, 5 hours a week. Bill hinted at this. He already has advertisers crawling back to him, begging Rush to take their money again, and he's telling them no. He's telling them no. So don't worry about Rush. I think it's going to be just fine.
What is happening here is so beautifully backfiring on the left that I almost begin to think Rush did it on purpose, and I wouldn't put it past him. Rush Limbaugh called a woman a slut. He later apologized. Some of the things that Bill Maher has said and Louis C.K. have said about Sarah Palin and others, needless to say, is unprintable, and it's unmentionable on the kind of shows that we produce here.
On last week's video, you heard President Barack Obama chastise Rush Limbaugh for his comments. Yet immediately following that, the reporter asked the president, what about Bill Maher and the vile and disgusting things he said about Sarah Palin? The president actually said that it's not his job to comment on those in the political arena. He went on to say that it's his job to lead by example. Yet, the following week, Bill Maher actually gave $1 million to Barack Obama's super PAC. Now the Democrats are in all-out defense mode, both for the contribution made by Bill Maher, as well as the president's comment that he would lead by example. The Democrats spent last Sunday on the talk shows defending Bill Maher and continuing to attack Rush Limbaugh. Keep in mind, Bill Maher has yet to apologize, and as most know, probably never will. Here's one example. Listen to what Chuck Schumer had to say.
Did Democrats give the money back?
Well, no. I mean, look, the bottom line is that Rush Limbaugh's comments were just nasty and directed at a particular young woman who had a particular point of view and was expressing herself. Bill Maher's a comedian. It's much different.
So if I understand this correctly, Senator Chuck Schumer says Rush Limbaugh's comments were nasty because they were directed at a particular woman who was only trying to express her views. That's so unlike Bill Maher's comments directed at a particular woman who was only expressing her points of view, right? But apparently, Mr. Schumer doesn't find those comments to be nasty. Neither do the other liberals or their friends in the media.
Thank you. Congresswoman, quick question. I know you've been outspoken about Rush Limbaugh. In light of Bill Maher's comments that Sarah Palin is a, quote, cunt and a dumb twat, are you going to call on the Obama
super PAC to return the $1 million they got from Bill Maher? And if not, why not? Why are you refusing to condemn that remark, ma'am? Why don't you condemn it? Do you find that okay discourse? Actually, another quick question. I know you put out a statement about Rush Limbaugh condemning his remarks, understandably. Have you put out a similar statement calling on the president's super PAC to return the $1 million that he got from Bill Maher? Why not? Is that an acceptable thing to call a woman? Why won't you speak out? I mean, isn't misogyny no matter which side does it? Why won't you say that what Bill Maher said about Sarah Palin is just as offensive, and that the president's super PAC should give back the $1 million? If Rush Limbaugh said about you or Speaker Pelosi or the First Lady what Bill Maher said about Sarah Palin, and then gave $1 million to a Romney super PAC, would you be silent about that? So I guess the headline is you're refusing to call what Bill Maher said about Sarah Palin offensive.
Well, you know what? I'm supposed to be at the Intelligence Committee meeting. Okay, I go this way.
Remember when Barack Obama said on the campaign trail that the family members of politicians are off limits? Remember that?
Which reminds me, while we were off, Sarah Palin agreed to do commentary at Fox News, which is actually very similar to her day job, talking to a baby with Down syndrome. And the leader of a strange family of inbred weirdos. In Bristol's new memoir, Not Afraid of Life, working title, Whoops, There's a Dick in Me.
Although nothing in this video could be described as earth-shattering news, it just goes to show the depths to which a guy like Bill Maher will go to destroy those that have different political views from his. Also the depths that the Democrats and their friends in the liberal media will go to cover up for them. It is a team sport after all. And remember, Bill Maher is a comedian. Rush Limbaugh isn't. So there you go. A rational person would find offensive both comments. They would find both comments degrading. But keep in mind, we're talking about the liberal mindset.
Hi, Bill Maher here. Sarah Palin agreed to do commentary at Fox News, which is actually very similar to her day job, talking to a baby with Down syndrome.
Speaking of dumb t***s,
It's not because they have breasts, it's because they are boobs.
I hope Sarah Palin gets in so that they split the MILF vote.
That's not sexist.
I would like to announce a donation to the Obama Super PAC.
I thought about Malia and Sasha. I want them to be able to speak their mind in a civil and thoughtful way, and I don't want them attacked or called horrible names because they're being good citizens.
I would like to give that PAC $1 million.
Sarah Palin, a strange family of inbred weirdos. She fucked Levi over and over until a baby fell out. The Maverick and the MILF. They fined CBS $1 million for Janet Jackson's nipple. Think what they could get for Hillary Clinton's cunt. That's not sexist.
All decent folks can agree the remarks that were made don't have any place in the public discourse.
She is the chair of the Democratic National Committee.
I don't know any woman in America that thinks that being called a slut is funny.
Please welcome Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Being part of a democracy involves argument and disagreements and debate, and there's a way to do it that doesn't involve you being demeaned and insulted.
Speaking of dumb t***s,
This is a Category 5 moron we have on our hands, and I am unapologetic.
Top 10 highlights of Sarah Palin's trip to New York City. Number 2, bought makeup at Bloomingdale's to update her slutty flight attendant look.
I'm going to try to lead by example.
During the 7th inning, her daughter was knocked up by Alex Rodriguez.
To send a message to all our young people, I'm going to try to lead by example.
speaking of dumb twats,
Maher decided to help President Obama out and give him a financial boost.
He's donated $1 million.
last week I said goodbye to $1 million. I made a contribution to Obama's Super PAC.
This ends up being a teachable moment.
I wouldn't put anything past this stupid country.
All decent folks can agree the remarks that were made don't have any place in the public discourse. I'm going to try to lead by example in this situation.
What do you make of what we were discussing in the first segment, this audio tape of Jerry Brown?
For one thing, I love that you got a statement from Gloria Allred. I was looking forward to this champion of women's rights.
I got it right here.
And
the person who referred to her as a whore was wrong. It is offensive to have anyone use that term. The individual who said it should apologize. Now, look, let's pick any female liberal Democratic politician. If I called or referred to them as a whore, pick anyone, what would the reaction be? Would Gloria Allred put out a statement that I should apologize?
Are you suggesting that there is some sort of double standard, Sean?
I am suggesting there is a double standard because I doubt Gloria Allred would be as forgiving, nor do I think the National Organization
not
of
only
Women
that, but
California chapter.
Yes.
Here's what I want to know. I think beyond Gloria Allred's comments, which are just interesting, the National Organization for Women, we just put it up there, and his actions speak louder than words. They're still supporting him. They're not even condemning him. Look at this comment. We know Jerry Brown's record. We know Meg Whitman's record. The choice is clear. We urge California women to vote for Jerry Brown for governor. Gee, thanks, National. Whatever.
Are you suggesting once again that the National Organization for Women does not have women's best interests at heart? Perhaps. Are you suggesting that they do nothing but promote abortion rights? Because I am shocked by this
I cannot
charge.
imagine any single instance besides this one where a woman is called a whore and the National Organization for Women says, you know what, we still support you.
Oh, no, I
We're
promise
behind you
you
100%.
they would not care if Sarah Palin, if Christine O'Donnell were called the C word. Forget the W word.
Well,
they probably
sadly,
call us
it's
that.
a sad commentary.
No, I think most people know the National Organization for Women is nothing but an abortion rights front group.
What we know, Gretchen, is that the left routinely does this, and when Ed Schultz called me what he called me, I've got to say, I just kind of laughed.
What about The View? Did they call?
Yeah, well, The View, remember when it was brought up on The View, you know, I go on The View every now and then. I've even filled in as a host on The View, and they're always really nice to me when I go, but when it was brought up on The View, Barbara Walters kind of laughed it off, and it's like, Joy, you call me that word all the time, and they kind of just laughed. But when Fluck goes on The View yesterday, it was, oh, isn't this a tragedy, and oh, isn't this horrible, and Rush Limbaugh should be driven off the air, and believe me, this is about free speech, and the idea that they're going to target this man's advertisers because of this with a 20-year career, you know why they're going after Rush, because he's really effective.
And so now, the left, which is 1,000 times more misogynist and 1,000 times more vile than anything Rush Limbaugh's even imagined, let alone said, now has to be held to the same public standards that President Obama inserted himself into, like an idiot. How do I explain this to Sasha and Malia? Well, how do you explain Louis C.K. calling Sarah Palin some of the things he said, Mr. President? Why don't you respond to that, too? My favorite saying in all of politics is, liberals want conservatives to shut up, and conservatives want liberals to keep talking. They have a right to boycott advertisers, that's their right. When the FCC starts shutting down free speech, that's another First Amendment violation. And I say, get all these First Amendment violations on the table and as quickly as possible. We have a choice to make in November.
This attempt to destroy Rush Limbaugh's career may be legal, but what's alarming is the way the president and the leading Democrat lawmakers and the mainstream media have coordinated their attacks with Media Matters to threaten not only Mr. Limbaugh's successful business, but the thousands of people nationwide who are employed as a result of his excellence in broadcasting network. No matter what the left does, the good news is we outnumber them. Rush will replace cowardly advertisers, and his listeners will continue to vote with their dollars. This is also a moment when conservatives are taking note of who has the courage to stand up for free speech and who bends to the chill wind blowing from the left. For Bill Whittle, Stephen Green, and the entire Trifecta crew at PJTV.com, I'm Scott Ott.